Hello, Mr. Lewis. Welcome to part 4 of the M340 big turbo install. So here's a quick update. Precision Raceworks came in clutch. All of their fittings came in. This is what we were waiting for so that we can now put the intake manifold on. So I got all these connected. What we ordered was their 360 kit. So that allows us to use his old ethanol sensor that was in place here, but instead of using the spool lines that were provided to him, we can use the stock lines, and this just allows us to connect to it. Apart from that, we ordered this fitting here, which is a 5/16 with a 3/8 with a 1/8 NPT, so that we can attach the pressure sensor to, and that gets wired to the reflex, or not wired but connected. And that's it. So now his PI, we're gonna tighten this bolt. I believe we haven't tightened it yet, but we're gonna tighten that. PI comes up, attaches to the hard fuel line, which is then attached to this fitting here, goes to this 180 to the ethanol sensor, and then there's another 180 where it attaches to the stock fuel line that runs to right here. So that's all set. We can now put the intake manifold back on. The wiring that I was working on for reflex is pretty simple. We have this connector here, that's our pressure sensor that's up there. This 3-pin connector here is our ethanol sensor. We ordered this also from Precision Raceworks. This lets reflex see the ethanol content in the tank. Yeah, so the only other thing I gotta wire now is the MAC, which we are waiting for the push lock fittings. They should be in today. It shows that it's on the delivery vehicle for FedEx. So hopefully those come in today so we can pick a spot where we're gonna put the MAC. I'm thinking it's gonna be somewhere in here, and then we can just run the lines through one of these grommets or something. Basically, it's 2 lines going to the wastegate, 1 going to the compressor housing for boost reference, and a T. So that'll be all good. We have our catch cans set up here. This one, luckily, we were able to reuse the same location. It doesn't look like it's going to interfere with the compressor housing. We fitted that. And then this will just reconnect to the valve cover. Valve cover is back on. This is the new OEM BMW valve cover. That's all set. Yeah, this is pretty much, so there's plenty of room there. We're gonna put the compressor housing on last after we get the intake manifold on, and then the charge pipes. Let me see what else. I think that's it up here. Oh yes, we did end up cutting that extended dump screamer pipe that was hanging on underneath the car. One thing that we have to do, anyone who's doing this job or running a secondary pump, the harness that comes with the kit for Precision Raceworks, great harness, nothing wrong with it. However, we've encountered on similar chassis such as this G80 where the secondary pump will basically keep running, and it'll just run overnight and drain the battery. So the fix for that is there's an orange wire here that's basically looped. It goes from this spot here to right there. You can see where I cut it. It goes to that red power wire. So basically I cut it off there, and then there's a brown wire that also goes to the ground on the harness. You can see it's cut there. So that brown wire is now soldered to this orange wire, and that's how it should be. And then the activation line for the secondary pump, which was normally a Hobb switch, we have this green and brown wire that runs all the way inside the car along the sill, and we have it coming out of the firewall over here. That right there gets wired to auxiliary 2 on reflex. So I have the green wire going to what normally was the plug that was a light blue and red wire. So what you have to do in order for this to work is you cut the blue wire. You no longer use the blue wire. Your green wire goes to the 12 volt red, and then your brown wire will go to the gray wire. And this is all hardwired, soldered, so we shouldn't have any issues with that. So this will allow reflex to trigger. Your tuner will basically enable reflex to trigger the secondary pump whenever he feels it necessary to come on, instead of using a hop switch, which is, you know, ancient technology. The last thing we need to wire, like I said, is the Mac. And the Mac is pretty simple. One of these wires, doesn't matter which one, is gonna get, again, hardwired to this white wire on the reflex harness. And then the other wire, the second wire, is gonna be, I'm probably going to, it needs a 12 volt switchable reference. So the same thing that's powering on the reflex is where we're gonna tie into, so that when you turn your ignition on and off, the Mac will also be enabled. So that's it, that's where we are right now. I would say 95% of the wiring is done. We're waiting for fittings to come in. For the Mac, we're using quick disconnect fittings. And yeah, I'll update as soon as those come in. Our next update will probably be the intake manifold on already. So we'll do that, but so far so good. We got another day and a half to go, but I think we should be able to at least start the car today, as long as I can get everything finished up, wired, and get the car flashed, get the reflex updated and flashed. If not, worst case scenario, we'll finish this off tomorrow. But there it is. She's looking good. This is another little project we're working on here. This car's gonna be really fast. We're still dialing it in. It's pretty much a full bolt-on car, but this car is gonna be flying, as they say. Anything else, Louis?
I don't know.
I think we're pretty much done with all the big stuff.
Yeah, all the main stuff.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll check in later. Hello, Mr. Lewis.
Hello.
How we doing?
Better.
Better. Why? Because the intake manifold on?
Yeah.
That was a mission.
Yep.
Wasn't horrible, but it was just, it's a tight squeeze. There are, I forget that bolt right there, but there's some coolant lines we gotta get to.
Oh, true.
But we were able to fit it. Now we got charge pipe going on so that we can tighten up and see where we need to clock this turbo. I did run all of the wastegate lines. Our quick disconnects came in. So this is where the max solenoid is going to sit. I routed the wires through here. These are the last two that I need to wire. You can see down by the wastegate, I got the lines going under the frame and coming up through here. So this is the bottom wastegate connector, which is boost reference, going onto port 1 of the Mac, and then the top of the wastegate will go into port 2. So pretty simple there. We're all done with the back of the car. We can start putting the cowling on after I finish this wiring here, but she's pretty much done. We got about an hour left of work here at the shop, so I still got to get some liquid moly to put in this thing. We got to change the filter, so I'll probably do that first thing tomorrow. And then from there, it's just flashing the reflex. We need to flash the firmware, then flash the bin file, and then we can flash the car, and she should be good for the first startup tomorrow. Overall, pretty easy going job. It's nice working on these newer cars, you know. B58 very similar to the S58 that we've been working on, so yeah. What do you think? Decent?
Decent, not that bad.
Not that bad, not that bad. All right, well, we will keep working on this, and I'll update you guys before we leave today. In the meantime, we have to do a log on this G80 M3. So I think I'm gonna bring you guys with. What do I need? Oh, the key. Let's go take a log on this thing here. Here's this beautiful Jare G80 M3. We have a new revision from our tuner, Mr. Douglas from Ben Calibration. He's been doing wonders on this car. Absolutely, I recommend Ben Calibration to anybody that's in the G80 platform. This guy is very knowledgeable. He knows what he's doing. He's very thorough, sends you everything you need, very supportive, and response time through email is insanely fast. I think we've done, since yesterday, probably 12 revisions. So we're on a flex field tune with this car. We're on E50 right now, so he just sent us a revision. I'm gonna go get a log and see how this thing feels. So here's the sequence for doing a log with this guy. Alright, we need Sport Plus, Sport, traction off. I like to set up M mode into Sport configuration, and lastly map 2. So we're gonna switch this map 2 and we are good to go. Turn the camera off and get a log because we're using boot mode, and then I'll do a little pull after the log so you can see what it looks like. Woo! Bro, this thing is getting absurdly fast. It's just spinning all fours. I mean, we got a light drizzle that just started, but this thing is getting sketchy. It is unbelievable how much power you can squeeze out of these S58s. Absolutely insane. And this car, like, we've been tuning it on 93 and we thought this thing was like flying. Feels absolutely amazing, but we're on E50 now and this thing is like scary fast. S58's the move. One day we're gonna get there. We're gonna get a nice S58 shop car to work on and just go balls to the wall. But for now, we're having fun modifying these things. Oh, Mr. Luis. Are we done?
Basically.
99.999% done. So 6 o'clock, the day's come to an end. She's pretty much complete. I would say 99% complete. DME is all wired in. There's one wire left that we have to wire in, and that's the max solenoid. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Intake manifold is on, charge pipe is on, compressor housing is on, all the charge pipes are connected. We just need to clock this a little bit more and find a clamp. Tell me about these clamps.
Fucking ass.
All of these spool clamps are garbage. They barely fit. The quality of the clamps is horrible, so we had to change a few of them with what we have here in stock. But just I would say that's probably the only negative thing to the spool kit is the quality of the clamps and that piece underneath that was hanging, the screamer pipe. But we ended up cutting that. We trimmed that so it's not hanging down anymore. Yeah, so tomorrow basically my day is going to consist of flashing the reflex, finishing the wiring for the max solenoid, just kind of checking over everything. We got to do put some fresh oil in it, and then we can give her her first startup. But yeah, overall not too bad, pretty good. I'm happy with the install. I think Lewis is pretty happy with the install as well. So we'll end it off here. Thanks for watching again, and if you like these videos, like, share, subscribe them, use them. You know, maybe you're doing this in your garage by yourself, but yeah, we'll leave it off here. I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video where we will finalize this build and get it running.